Alright everybody, I'm the Magnet Mechanic, and I'm going to show you something today. I got a 2019 Honda Odyssey. So what we're going to have to do is turn the vehicle on, turn your scan tool on, and put it in service brake mode. Now I know a lot of people don't do that with these, but I do. I actually put it in service brake mode because I don't want to damage any of the parking brake or the sensors or anything like that. I got to do a full complete brake job. You cannot do partial brake jobs. You can't just do the front, you can't just do the back. You have to do all four at the same time because these sensors are measured and gauged correctly. You have to make sure it's set right. Same thing with your tires. If you have one wearing out more than the other, it will throw a sensor code to shut down the transmission or stop the vehicle because it's not having the correct lane mitigation system. Now I can actually scroll through these and show you. Let's see. So what I've got going on is I have a low tire light, right? It's just running just for a second. But as soon as you start moving or anything like that, it tells you that there is an issue with the vehicle, and you'll have the Christmas tree effect pop up all over, and there'll be tons of codes. It'll have lane assist shut down. It'll have collision mitigation. Cruise control won't work, and then it'll even get to the point where your signal will be flashing for drive, park, reverse, neutral, whatever, constantly while you're going down the road, and it'll say swap to park. It's sensors on the front of the vehicle. Like, we even have a crack right here on the windshield, right in front of my camera. Went and had it checked. Not the camera. So I'm gonna change all the brakes, and then we're gonna go get tires, and we'll reset everything. Y'all just stick around, we'll show you how it's done. Alright, we're gonna go in and do a brake reset. Right now I've got the vehicle off, but the switch is on, it's not running. So it's just showing, yes, I have 2 low tires, I get that, yeah. Alright, we're gonna set this. Have to go in and find your vehicle, boop. There you go. Ignition's on. But what you're going to have pop up is you're going to have a UO104 code. That code means it's lost communication with your adaptive braking. You need to either get a new sensor, which is a little over $1,000 in there on back order, or you need to get a whole set of brakes and rotors put on your car. If you don't know what you're doing, don't do it on your own. Make sure you have help or you have the proper tools to do it the right way. Thank you. And I'll walk you through this step by step. This is what we're going to go into. Brake pad maintenance. Boop. So what you just missed, I'm sorry, is when you enter into brake pad maintenance, you'll hear the parking brake, the electronic parking brake, disengage in the vehicle. You'll hear it fully click out. I'm going to leave my scanner hooked up just in case anything happens, but I'd rather have it hooked up just in case. Alright, y'all stick around and I'll show you all the tools we need. Okay, everybody, I've got everything laid out, all my tools that I've got. I'm sorry about the wind. I've got a 17mm short socket on a 3/8 ratchet, long enough that I can get some torque, because you got 2 bolts that hold this bracket on. You got 22mm. It's your lug nuts for your wheel. I've already got my wheel off. I got an electric impact. You can use a ratchet wrench, you can use a breaker bar, you can use a lug wrench, whatever you need to use. I've got an air impact over there also. I've got a small pair of channel locks to help me hold these countersink nuts right here on the back, because you got to get these little bolts loose, which are a 13mm. I use a ratchet 13mm. I've got a large Phillips head, small flat head. I have a Matco Tools separator for your caliper, for your pads, to help push the caliper piston back in. If that's what you want to use, that's fine. You can probably go on the TikTok shop or Amazon and get them pretty cheap. I've got a caliper brake holder that I can actually hook in there, and I can hook to the back of it to hold this out of the way so I can work safely. I have all new hardware, my new rotor, my new pads, my new clips. I'm going to put a little bit of the anti-seize in there because I don't want it seizing up, so the next time I do it, it'll be a lot easier. Always be careful pulling these Phillips heads out. It's a tiny little bolt. It will break. and it will mess up the end of it. You got to be careful. I use one of the snap-on screwdrivers that actually has the 11 millimeter. I can hook onto it with an 11 millimeter wrench, use a little extra torque, break it loose. You don't have to. You don't have to buy anything name brand. Just use what you have. Also, if you're going to be taking this electric parking brake off the back of it, if you do not have a scan tool and you want to take this parking brake off the back of it, take you a small H4 Allen head. Just take that out. You got one bolt right here, and you got one right here on the back side, right at the end of my finger. I'm sorry, it's probably not the clearest shot. But be careful. If that's the route you're going to take, separating that and taking it apart. Make sure the vehicle's off. Make sure you don't have the switch on. Everything. And be careful. Always use proper safety. I have latex gloves on to keep the chemicals off my hands. I also have a pair of knuckle busting gloves and a knee pad. You're going to be out here moving wrenches, moving parts around. You don't want to get hurt. Always use proper safety. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fast forward. I'm going to do a small clip now of me separating this and putting the new one on. And I hope y'all enjoy it. I hope this helps. Two bolts. Back and forward. Nice and easy. Do not break the sensor right here. There you go. Nice and out of the way. And you got your two 17 millimeters. You can see down in here. You're just going to bust those loose. You're going to knock it out. Remember which way your tab goes so you don't try and put your brakes in backwards, please. Sorry, I should have already had this open. I apologize. Mwah. Beautiful setup. There's where your bolt goes. Slap that old girl on there. And you're good to go to reverse your process and put everything back together. Now when doing this, and you can engage your parking brake and everything, if you're not using a scanner and you're going to re-engage your parking brake, make sure you still have your vehicle off and you're putting your sensor back on. You're going to go back in and it'll be perfectly fine. You start your vehicle back up, make sure everything's already good and connected and tight as it should be. Make sure everything is secure. And I know you can't really tell. Maybe I have my jack under there. I do have jack stands further up that are under the middle of the body to support it, just in case the weight difference or anything shifting, you don't want it to fall. I hope this is very helpful, and I'll show you the completed product when everything's done. I appreciate everybody. Alright, I've got everything completed. I've got a new rotor, got my new pads, got my new clips. Everything's good and tight. And I'm going to go ahead and put the wheels back on the back. I'm going to lower it back down, torque all my lugs, and then I'm going to go to the front. Y'all hang with us. We'll get this knocked out together. When lifting a vehicle, always make sure you look for proper lifting points. In the front of a Honda Odyssey, this one's a 2019 once again, there's a spot right here in the dead center of the frame. It comes across, it's a big flat piece of steel welded to that tube. And there's one dead center. I'm not sure if you can see it from here. Let's try. Let's see. Right there. There's one dead center to the left of that bicycle tire. Focus right there. Right there in the back. And it's a good spot to lift from if you have to. There's also one on each corner of the vehicle inside of the wheel area. It's a good flat area. You can see that one right down there. And if that piece wasn't right there, you can see the other one. Looks like my wife's been doing a little bit of off-roading here. Ran over a tree limb the other day and then pulled up on the curve. Gotta love that. Gotta love that. But hey, things happen. It's alright. Alright, on your front brakes on your 2019 Honda Odyssey, your hardware is going to be slightly different on the front. Okay, you're going to have a 19mm big hardware bolt that's on the top and bottom holding this caliper housing on. The bolt that holds the actual caliper to this housing is a 14mm. It's just slightly smaller in the rear. It's a 13mm and a 17mm to get the backs off, but the front's slightly bigger. You'll notice it's a slightly bigger rotor, slightly bigger pads. That's because your stopping force is going to be in the front. Primarily, the back is just there to assist and utilize the parking brake. Fronts, more stopping force. Follow along. Alright, I've got all new rotors, all new pads all the way around. Everything's torqued back to spec. I aired my tires back up. Now I'm about to go back into the system and turn it on. And we're going to go back to normal brake mode.